Hello and welcome back to some more PandaINC and subsequently Software Inc. Where we last left off, Panda Palette 6 just released to the market. We are working on Cub 3D. We tried to get burgled, but no one got anything. And we are porting Panda Palette 6 to Pen OS and Tiger Flash 4. Now, in this episode, I think I would like to focus on getting set up with the other software. I can't remember what that is off the top of my head. We want to get audio tools going at some point. But before we get to that, I would like Cub 3D to finish, get that released, try to get that onto automation as well, just so we don't have to keep track of too many different things, and get that going. Before we do that, in the last video, someone commented that the only option to get outstanding software, something to do with the code of the game, is to set the development time between 180% and 200%. So I'm going to try that. We'll set these both to 200%. I mean, worst case scenario, they develop the software a little bit faster, right? And that is just what it is. Panda Palette 6 had a pretty good second day, selling a good 5,000 units, generating us $250,000 in income. We are in the profits. Our budget is good. Our accountants are working. We do have some deals available for some print jobs, so we'll go ahead and take those. But I think for right now, we're mostly just going to be fast forwarding through time just a little bit until something interesting happens with Cub 3D. We're also porting Palette 6 to Next. It's got the antivirus team on it, which I don't want. Just the 2D team doing that, please. And at some point, once we move, I'm going to set up a dedicated porting team. So that's their only job. They can do ports and they can help with updates and they can work as like a secondary dev team, but that is going to be in a future episode for sure. But if you are enjoying the series, don't forget to go ahead and like the video down below, leave a comment for the sake of engagement, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. But we're going to go ahead, fast forward some time here for a little bit, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, we'll just pause there real quick. We had two people retire. That sort of is what it is. They were both on the M1 team. So Misty Boone and Arlene, both on the M1 team. Let's just go ahead and quickly make sure that the M1 team does have HR management on and working. And it does. So they should just automatically replace themselves. So we don't really have to do anything there. The only thing we should probably do is readjust these priorities so that they aren't, actually doing the stuff that we don't want them to do. We can have everyone do artist stuff on here too. They're actually not too bad at it, but their main focus should be the service roles. I'll go ahead and check that these are all set up as well. They are. They're all fine. I mean, while we're here, we may as well just check that everyone is good, because every now and then the game hires someone and it just doesn't update their roles, because that is something that I've told it not to do. So every now and then it's good to check, but we are all good there. Everyone is happy and healthy with that. The accounting team doesn't actually have any HR management. It was also pointed out to me that the leader of this team, if I have a look in here, Alvaro, if we jump into leadership skills, they have automation, which is absolutely not necessary for the accounting team. So we might actually try and replace him real quick if we get to hire employees. We go lead with a secondary in service. They are compatible with the accounting team. We don't need automation, but we would like socialization is probably more important than multitasking. The accounting team's generally only doing one job at a time, so that should be absolutely fine. We definitely want HR though, so go ahead and begin looking. We've got two options. This person can do accounting, which is good. And this person has 2 stars in accounting, plus 3 stars in HR and socialization. So they'll be able to hold meetings as well as help out with the accounting. So Emerson is officially hired. We'll go ahead, and this is going to make some people sad, but Alvaro is officially fired. You are gone, and we'll change the roles on Emerson to be... change roles to leader, please. Oh, we can't do that because your roles are wrong now. If I unpause the game, it should be fine. Once he leaves, we can assign Emerson as the leader. There we go. We'll put you on secondary service and leader. And someone else has also retired. Everyone's just retiring. The 2D team, one of our programmers has retired as well. So go ahead and check that the 2D team can actually hire its own employees, and it can't. So that's going to have to be something we replace ourselves. If we have a look in here and we look at her details, she was 3 stars in system and 2D in both programming and designing. So it's kind of a big loss, to be honest, but we are going to need to replace her. For some reason, her role was strictly programming, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that is what it is, I suppose. Let's go ahead and look for a programmer with a secondary in designing. We'll go for a high salary. They want to be on the 2D team, and we need system and 2D. I'm going to prioritize 2D over system. That was another great comment I got on the last video. Apparently these stack in order of priority, so if you put 2D at the top, it's more likely to find people with 3 stars in 2D rather than system. Just good little tip to know. But that should be good. Programmer designer, we'll go ahead and have a look there, see what we get. No one with 3 stars in system and 2D design. But this is a pretty solid pick, to be honest. They have 3 stars in system and 2D in programming. They're good. They can do all the designing we need for system and 2D as well. So Isaac, you are officially hired. Plus they're a little bit younger and they have a modest salary. Just all around a pretty good hire, in my opinion. So close out all that, clear these so we can actually tell who the new person is, and go into manage teams, jump into support, manage roles, and you are going to do programming and secondary design. That should be all good to go. All right, I'm going to continue, come back if anything else interesting happens. Okay, this is interesting. I just opened up this manufacturing job and it's saying that we only have 1 of 4 final assemblies. So I think I might have set this up wrong. What is that manufacturing? Touch sensors. I think that's these guys. Yeah, touch sensors. So they come down here, come into here, and then they just go straight to here, which is our final assembly. But we are meant to have 4 of them and we only have 1. So if we can, that's occupied. Okay. We move this down. 1, 2, 3. We'll give it a space. That'll be fine. And then we can delete these and move this over to here. And then if we take... we don't quite have the room. This is interesting. We don't quite have the room to move this around. Give me a second and I'll figure something out here. Okay, so I'm struggling to figure this out for sure. This is not going particularly well. The trouble is I need gaps between all this stuff, right? So I need them to be able to access these, but once you get 4 assemblers together, you can't do that because I need an input and an output and they won't be able to get to it. So I think I need to use the ceiling mounted ones at some point with the conveyor ramps, but I'm not 100% sure the best way to go about that. I might just leave it as the one for right now, and if you guys have any good suggestions on how I can fix this up and make it better in the comments, that would be absolutely fantastic, because I'm struggling right now. Just straight up struggling right now. So this should still be, that's I think the way that I had it before. If you guys can see a solution where I can get 4 final assemblies on this phone line, that would be fantastic. If not, I mean, we're redesigning next episode anyway, so it's probably not the biggest deal. But if you guys have any tips for conveyor systems, down in the comments, that would be absolutely fantastic. I do also just want to pause and take a note on how well Panda Palette is doing. I probably shouldn't say that because now that I've said that, it'll probably drop to almost 0 next month, but we're making around 400,000 a month on Panda Palette, which is fantastic. We do have some licensing going on, but it's really not a ton. 46,000 active users, we can be pretty happy about that. I do think we can still get this job done. It only needs 14,000. I don't know if we're going to be able to finish that job though. How many are we making? This one is 4. Okay. I don't know what this is, what's happening here. This says that we've got 0 of everything now. If I press play, does that update? I hope it does. Did I break something? I might have broken something. I don't think I did. No, everything's moving through it. I think that might just be a visual bug. So yeah, we need to make 360,000. I'm confused as to our numbers here because it says we're making 360,000 a month, but we currently aren't. This is only making 90,000 a month. But we do have till December to do it, so I guess that just works out. Interesting. Not sure. I'm not too sure what's happening there. But I don't think I'm going to accept this job just because I'm not confident that we can get it done. So we'll reject that one. And I also don't know if we can get these printing jobs done. If we have a look at our software printing, our goal is 500,000. That's about a month's work. So it takes 2 months to clear this backlog. They want 4.8 million and these guys want 1 million. So I think we're just going to go ahead and cancel those, reject those, not take them, and call it a day there until this backlog clears out just a little bit. I do definitely want to upgrade our printing facility in the new office coming in next episode, but yes, for now, I think we'll just leave it alone. It's been working, we'll just leave it. But if you do have any suggestions for the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. Back to the little time lapse. It turns out I actually had to check this button. It wasn't checked, which is why it was showing I had 0 of everything because I broke it. So if you ever mess with your assembly lines while you've got a job that's active, make sure you come in here and tick that box because otherwise it will not work. So hopefully we can get this job done in time. I think we will be able to though. I think it'll be okay. Okay, we will pause there. 2 things just happened. A new company came out that is selling antiviruses. They have a visionary creativity lead designer and just went to market. So we will definitely go ahead and buy some of those. I know they're a direct competitor, but I mean, we may as well take some of their dividends, right? If they're willing to give them to us. So that is a thing that just happened. The other thing that just happened is we just released PandaGuard 10 to the market. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like. It is also great. I wasn't expecting that update to the development timelines to change this version, but we can have a gauge on PandaGuard 11 whether or not we can get an outstanding quality product. I'm not going to cancel the marketing on PandaGuard 9 just yet because it is bringing in like $900,000 a month. So we'll keep that going for right now. But with this coming out, I want to go ahead and start a port for everyone except the 2D and 3D teams. And let's have a look what we can port this to. Put it to Mobile Online, vHome, PenOS, Next, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Next, Tiger Flash 4, and that's it. That's a pretty hefty porting job there for everyone to work on, but that is okay. And then we'll go ahead and update this to the latest tech levels as well using our own Panda Palette 6. We'll assign that also to everyone except for the 2D and 3D teams and go ahead and work on that at a top priority, get that done ASAP. And yeah, let's see how we go for sales. We do have 250,000 in stock, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's see how it goes. Oh, and speaking of the devil, we've got an award. Let's have a look. Best product, come on. Oh. Second place for Panda Palette 6. Not too bad, but it is only great, so it's sort of what we were expecting. I've decided that we aren't going to display our silver products just because, you know, gold seems better. So that is what it is. We'll go ahead and sell that just instead. But back to the time lapse. And our first month has gone pretty well. We have a look. PandaGuard 9 still made a fairly decent chunk of money, but we made 400,000 with PandaGuard 10, so that is absolutely perfect. This is an interesting notification that I haven't had in a while. Computer is getting very slow and needs to be looked at by IT support staff. What that tells me is we do not have enough staff to do that. We only have the one person coming in. They're coming in 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. I think it's time we probably ended up getting ourselves another IT person and probably another maintenance person as well. I think that will be absolutely called for. So if we grab another IT and a maintenance, that's how you know that I haven't done this in a minute. Press the wrong button. We need a IT and a maintenance down here so they can come in every day, and we'll get them to come in at 12. That'll be fine. Have someone come in at 7, come in at 12. That'll be nice and dandy. Our sales for PandaGuard 10, yes, are very good. 10,000, absolutely perfect. It's all looking pretty good right now. It's all looking pretty good. Update for PandaGuard 10 is almost out the door. Taking a little bit longer than I would have hoped, but that is what it is. Once this initial update goes out, pause the game for a second. Once this initial update goes out, the automation should handle the rest of them. I just like to get that out on the first day because it takes a day for that to update. But Patty Wells has retired. She was on our 2D team as well, and I don't believe... Did our 2D team have HR management? No, it does not. So we're going to have to replace Patty Wells, artist. If we have a look at her, she was really another big loss for the company, if we're being honest. That is a lot. She was great at programming, great at design, and great at artist stuff. So we're going to have to replace her ASAP. We need a designer. We need an artist, and we'll go secondary... We'll go secondary programmer. I think that'll be good. Oh, no, let's go secondary designer. Just because we can. Filter by compatibility with the 2D team I believe she was on. Patty Wells 2D, yes. And go ahead and have a look. See what we can get. So you're not a bad pick. Anyone else standing out here? No, everyone else kind of sucks. So Joan, welcome to the team. You are now a part of our 2D team. We'll go ahead and make sure we set up her roles correctly. You're going to be predominantly an artist, but you can also do designing and programming on the side. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Done, done, done. And yeah, back to it. Let's see how this manufacturing job is going. We only need 60,000 more. We have 65,000 in storage, so that should be all good to go. Yep, that's done. Vacation. Started selling more shares. Why is this computer still slow? We have a look at that computer. It's currently at 23%. Is no one working on this computer? Why are our IT staff just not doing things? We have a look in here and our staff. We have 2 IT people, yeah. So we should be good. Interesting. This update can go out. We are still porting. That was quite a large port job there. Hopefully someone comes in and actually fixes this computer for us. That would be fantastic. And another retiree. They're just coming in droves at the moment. M1 does have HR management on it though, so we don't have to worry about that. Someone finally looked at that computer. Perfect. So they are working. They're just a little bit bad at their jobs. That is fine. The other thing that did happen while we were away in the time lapse, we didn't file a tax report again, just because we had a brand new leader, so the team cohesion just wasn't there. But that shouldn't be a problem in this upcoming year. Okay, burglars were apprehended by police. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Oh my goodness. Someone's filed a formal complaint about what? Oh, the burglar. You can have a little bump to your pay. That's fine. Okay. They're a little bit unhappy, but we can deal with that. Another formal complaint, really? It's just our leaders. Yeah, go ahead. Have a raise. Have a raise. It really wasn't that scary, I promise you. They didn't get anything. But where are we? Where are we? Cub 3D. I'm going to let this go to about halfway before we go to the alpha stage. Still porting PandaGuard 10. We had a little dip in sales there for some reason, but it's come back. I think we're okay. We're okay. Marketing for PandaGuard 9 is still a thing we want to be doing because it's got 650,000 a month. Yeah. Oh, good. We'll be back in just a little bit. And another retiree on our antivirus team. I don't remember if antivirus team had. No, they don't either. So that's annoying. This is why HR is such a good thing to have in this game specifically. We had a programmer designer who quit and another pretty big loss, although they weren't great at designing. But we'll go ahead and hire a program designer for that team as well. It's going to be programmer designer, salary high for the antivirus team. We're going to want them to have system, 2D, and network. I'm going to put network up the top just because I know a few people don't have that. So it would be nice to fill that gap just a little bit. And go ahead and have a quick look at what we got here. They can't do 2D. They can't do 2D. They can. Okay, so you're probably the option. You are 50 though, so you're going to retire pretty soon. Makes me wonder whether or not we should just go for a medium salary person. They tend to be a little bit younger. Let's have a look there. Yeah, so 38 is the youngest we can get. If we sort by skill, yeah, you're not bad, but you're not great. A 40 would be okay. Anyone who has 2 stars in everything? No, of course not. Okay, so I think Cassandra is going to be our choice. She has 2 stars in system, 2 stars in network, 1 star in all of the designing things. I think that'll be okay. Cassandra, welcome to the team. Go ahead and set up your roles real quick. We go into the antivirus team and manage roles. You can do both of those things. You can secondary design. That'll be fine. Done, done, and done. And back to it. Okay, so we now have Cub 3D pretty much halfway through its 4th design iteration. So I think it's about time we go ahead and develop this, put it into the alpha stage. Now, I am now realizing, as I'm talking about this, that we never did a press release for this build. So, question is, do we want to go ahead and do that? And I think we probably should before we promote this. So I will go ahead and do that. We'll go ahead and set up the hype. That's fine. And we'll go ahead, do marketing, and start working, excuse me, on a press release for that. We'll prioritize that, get them to finish that press release out, and then we can go ahead and promote this to the alpha stage. So we'll let that just run for just a little bit longer. Okay, so there has been an incident, and Freeman Fields, the manager of the 3D team, has resigned. That is not ideal. They were hospitalized. So that is not good at all. Let's have a look at what they were good at. They were a designer predominantly after the lead, so we're going to look for another lead designer for the 3D team. Question is, who was the lead on that? I'm hoping it was Rochelle and not this guy. And I think that's the case. So we can go ahead and try and find someone else for the 3D team. I believe that was the 3D team. Yes, it was. So we'll go ahead, hire an employee. We want a lead designer. We're going to try for a high salary and compatibility with the 3D team. Now, the 3D team, what do they need? They need 3D and system, and that's it. So that's easy to do. Unfortunately, we can't search by that. So we do need automation first. HR would be lovely. And then I would like socialization and multitasking in that order. And I'm hoping that this little trick does work in the way that it said. So hopefully we see some people with full automation, some HR, some socialization, and some multitasking, but we'll see what we get. We get one person, and it looks like that is the case because we don't have any multitasking here. They do have 2 stars in system and 3D, so that's absolutely perfect. They also have some service skills, but they are not relevant. So Trenton at age 46, welcome to the team. They have Friend Maker, which is always nice to see. They do walk a little bit slower, but that's fine. And you are officially hired. We'll jump into the 3D team here and make sure their roles are set correctly. So that is our new leader. You can do both of these things, secondary and just lead straight up, so that will be fine. Keep running, this press release is almost there. And with that press release ready to go out, we can go ahead, announce a release date for this. I'm hoping we can get it done in a year and 4 months, but if we can't, I don't think it's the biggest deal in the world. So we are currently in April, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We want August of 2007. That seems like it's going to be tight, but we can try for it. That is a year and 4 months, yes. And go ahead and release that press release, and then move this into the alpha stage. Yes, I'm sure. Go ahead and not do a review. We want to market this and start working on a secondary press release for the alpha build. That will be just fine. And that can just go ahead and run till it's pretty much done. With development on Cub 3D almost complete, we'll go ahead and release this press release, get a little bit more marketing hype out there. And as soon as this promotes to the beta stage, we'll go ahead and send out a press build as well. We did have a 9.8 score on the review, but it wasn't completely finished yet, so that might end up being a 10 out of 10 rating. But overall, I think it's going to be a pretty good product. The only other thing we did in the time lapse is we cancelled the marketing for PandaGuard 9 because it was starting to lose us money. But apart from that, we've just been keeping up with deals, keeping up with our buying stocks of new companies, and it's all just been generally pretty good. Okay, so Cub 3D is now ready to go. And go ahead and set a print job on that. I'm only going to do 50,000 units for this because it is a brand new product. We have 0 market recognition in that space, but we can go ahead and give this a quick market and press build, send that out at the end of the day. That will be fine. We'll give them a few days to work on bugs. Maybe once we've fixed, say, 400 or so bugs, we'll send this out and release it, get it set up on automation, and that will be a-okay. Then the other thing that I'm noticing is that PandaPalette 6 has started dropping a little bit in popularity. We're still pretty steady. It's making us decent money. And PandaGuard 10 is doing fantastic at about 800,000 a month. So we are looking pretty good. I think we're on track to build our new building next episode, and at the end of this episode we'll go ahead and hire a team for our audio tools. I'm not necessarily going to assign them to a room yet. I just want to hire the team, and then once we go ahead and build, we'll know how big that's going to be. Before we get into that though, PandaGuard 11 has just released, so that is always interesting. Let's see how we did. The quality is only good. That's concerning. I don't understand why we aren't getting outstanding quality. This should all be set up correctly. The only thing that I can think of is the fact that these guys are also working on updating our other products. So I think once we get into the next building in the city, we're going to hire a dedicated update and porting team, so that the developers on this only have to focus on working on actually building the products. And I think that might help us out a little bit there. We also might expand our team sizes a little bit once we get into the new office and we have a little bit more space. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm going to leave it how it is for now. If you guys have any suggestions on how we can improve that quality in the comments, that would be absolutely fantastic. But if not, that is what it is. We're going to wait for this to fix around 400 bugs, or at least to slow down a little bit. And then we can get Cub 3D out the door, hire our new team, and call it an episode there. So we'll be back in just a second. And we've also just had someone on our support team quit, and we do not have HR management on our support team, so we're going to have to fix that real quick. That shouldn't take too long at all. We can just go ahead, hire an employee. We want service, support, no secondaries, medium salary, filter by support team. Traits should be all set up and nice. Go ahead and look for the highest skilled person. That is Marlon. She's a little bit older, so we might end up going with Cliff, who is 38. Curious how much worse Tiffany is. She's a fair amount worse. I think we go for Cliff. He's got a modest salary as well, so that's always nice. 2 stars in support. That's fine. He'll train up over time, get that 3rd star. That'll be absolutely fine. Welcome to the team, Cliff Walsh. Make sure we go ahead and manage the roles there. The only thing we want you doing is service. Absolutely A-OK, all done and dusted. And it is a brand new day. We didn't file a tax report, so that is another thing we're going to have to work on in our city office. I think I would like to get a little bit, at least one more accountant for our accounting team. They're working fairly well, but there is only 5 of them, and we are getting to be a rather large company. But Cub3D has fixed 379 bugs. I'm going to call that fine, and we're going to go ahead and release that today. Yes, please. Let's see how we did. Magnificent. 4 stars. Never heard of us. That's fine. And 4 stars in quality as well. So not fantastic, but not too bad. We don't need copies or prints, so we'll go ahead and set that up with marketing. I can move to the top, and that will be fine. We'll keep an eye on how that is doing. Support for Cub3D will be done manually for now, but we will be moving that to automation for the next version. So we'll go ahead and set this to be updated. We'll set this to everyone except for the 2D and antivirus teams. That will be absolutely A-OK. Get that done as soon as possible. And then we also want to go in and have a look at our details. We do have outstanding quality, which is fantastic. We only have ordinary quality, but our creativity of Rochelle has been narrowed down to 67 to 96%. So she might end up actually being quite good, which is what we want to see. I'm just going to rearrange these just a little bit so we can see everything a little bit better. Thankfully, these windows are a little bit transparent, so we can do something like that. We do need to go ahead and port this to all of the appropriate places. So this will be just the 3D team and everyone else. And the only thing we can put it to is next 3. So we'll go ahead and set that up, get that running, and we'll leave this run for a day. Just see how our sales do. Get this update out, start the port, and do some marketing on that. Hopefully it goes fairly well. I'm hopeful. But it is, we don't have any market recognition in this space, so I expect it to not do fantastic. It's good to see that PandaGuard 11 is starting to pick up a little bit of sales. It was looking a little bit sketchy there for a minute, but we should still be okay. We also have 62 million in stocks, so in total our company is currently worth over $150 million, so definitely in a place where we can look to be moving in the next episode. It's probably going to be primarily just a build episode, and we might let it run for like a day or two to see how we go. This is surprising. This did actually quite well. We sold 3,000 units for a total of $232,000. Hopefully that can continue, and our 3D software is just profitable from the get-go. Let's have a look at the competition. We do have a little bit more competition in the space than when we started developing it, but that is sort of just what it is. We get these updates out, and then at the start of the next day, I want to go ahead and hire some people for the audio tools team, and we're going to leave it there. Next episode, we'll come back and we will do our brand new office. I'm going to decline this manufacturing job. I know it's probably good money, but we are about to move and we're going to change all that, and I don't want to have to deal with doing that, so we're going to reject that for now. This update is almost complete. There it is. It can go out the door. Our porting is all done. So yeah, once we get to midnight, we'll start working on our audio tools, get that designed. The only other thing we need to do now is we need to set up a project management. So this will be Cub3D. Our leader will be Trenton. Design teams 3D, development team 3D, secondary dev teams is everyone except for antivirus and 2D and 3D. So just all of our secondary teams. Support team will be 3D. That will change as soon as we get a dedicated support team. Marketing teams are M1 and M2. That is fine. Update team is 3D. That will also change once we get a dedicated support updating team. SCM is SCM. Prototype software is Cub3D. And server is live server. We'll set this to 200%, see how it goes. No iteration cooldown. Do updates. Update every month for 36 months. That will be fine. Check every single box, and we will want to order 250 1,000 prints once it hits the beta stage. That should be all set, ready to go. That'll start working on its own, and that is lovely jubbly. We are going to have to do manual marketing and support for this, but that is what it is. And we're just about to hit midnight, so we'll go ahead and pause the game there. And we did, again, pretty decent sales, and we got a little bit of an uptick on our Panda palette as well, which is fantastic to see. So now we'll go ahead and clear out this screen because we don't need this while we're hiring. If we go ahead and say we want to develop a brand new software, we need a name for our audio tools. So give me a second. Let me bring up my trusty AI, and I'll be back in a second once I have something. Okay, so we're going to name this Chubby Chords. I think that's a pretty decent name for an audio tool. Everything on this page should be all good. We'll go ahead and start up our brand new framework. This is going to be Frame Audio. Go to our next page. We'll analyze our market real quick and see what we can do. So this is going to require audio developers, 2D developers, and system developers. That is absolutely fine. We'll go ahead and take these guys off so it's not assigned to a specific team. And that will be okay. Now we need to figure out what we need. So what do we have in here? We are probably going to want people who are pretty good in audio and system. I don't know if we're going to want any 2-star things in our 2D interface. We add, just the channel mixer is a 1-star 2D developer. That will be absolutely fine. And then we can have a look at composing. Pretty much gives us all of the, or synthesizer almost gives us all of the composing we need. And then if we also check wave, pitch, and stretch, that is a pretty good mix of things there. We don't have any system stuff in here. We could have a look. I don't think it's worth adding anything else. Maybe effect plugins would be good. But that's not too bad. We need 5 designers, 9 programmers, and 1 artist. That is absolutely something we can achieve. Go back to our previous page, choose our 2D tool. We want this to be Panda Palette 6 so that we can use our own licensing. And then we just need to tell it what operating systems we want to be on. So basically anything over 100,000 is what I like to go for. Anything lower than that doesn't really seem worth it in my eyes. And this one came out in November 2001, so it's not currently growing, I don't think. That will be A-OK, 4 different operating systems. That is going to take us to 6 designers, 10 programmers, and 1 artist. We can absolutely do that. We don't need a publisher. We can't get a publisher. And that will be our audio tool all set. This is very complex. Yes, I want to continue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we can go ahead, manage teams, create a brand new team for audio. Make sure these guys are set up correctly. If we look at our schedule, where are we? Audio. So these are going to be, well, these people were going to be in the 2D office. So I'm going to set it up like that. I think we'll have dedicated offices for everyone, and we might even split these into 2 different development teams for each thing, just to make these go a little bit quicker so that we can actually do the 200% development time and hopefully get an improvement on our stuff there. Go ahead and give them holidays basically all year round. That'll be absolutely fine. And then we need to basically hire some employees. So we're going to need a lead, and I like to make my lead a designer. We can actually have a look and see if there are any lead designers that we could use. If we go for the antivirus team, this person's not too bad. Their creativity is only 64% though, so really not worth doing. We're not going to go for a lead. We're just going to try and find our own. So we'll go lead, designer, salary high, compatibility with the antivirus team, filter by specialization. We want automation, HR, and socialization, and then multitasking. And go ahead and look there. We only get 1 person. They can't do any 3D stuff, but they can help out with our system and 2D. So I think that is what it is. We're going to hire them for the brand new audio tools team. You are our leader. And then we can come in here, manage our roles. You are the leader. Basically don't do anything else except for leading and secondary programming and design. That will be fine. We go into HR management, set up this role selection. Don't change that. Go for 3 stars, 1 person at a time. And we can have a look here at what we need. If we go into our project details, we need 6 designers. We need 10 programmers. And we need 1 artist. So that'll be that. I'm going to take one of these designers off because our lead is a designer. Specializations should be in System 2D and 3D. Very important. Pick our traits. We don't want any cup holders, forgetfuls, or hypochondriacs. That'll be fine. And we're going to go for medium salary on these guys. I mean, the reason I want to do medium is because they're going to come in a little bit younger and they'll be around for a little bit longer. So that is what I want to do there. Our audio team should now be completely set up. As soon as this runs, this guy will hire some people. We can worry about that in the next episode. But that's all I have for you guys today. I think it's been a fairly long episode. We've got a lot done. Next episode, we're going to come back. We're going to move our base of operations to the city, get that going, start on Chubby Chords, monitor how we're doing with Cubs 3D, and I think it's going to be a good old time. I'm excited to get into a brand new office with some dedicated manufacturing areas, some bigger offices for bigger teams, and maybe another split schedule. But if you are enjoying the series, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like down below, and also leave a comment for the sake of engagement. But until next time, happy building, happy developing. Bye guys.